So I wanted to start this video off just by mentioning Tautronics. They did offer to sponsor this video. The adpocalypse on YouTube, as I'm sure you've heard of, is still in full force, so reaching out to different brands like this to create sponsorships is kind of becoming necessary. Fortunately, this is a pretty cool company, and what they wanted me to talk about today was their Father's Day sale. They do offer a range of different options, most of them technology oriented, whether it be a dash cam, a pretty cool desk light that I'll actually have more on in a new video, and just a lot of other miscellaneous things. I recommend you guys check out their website. They do have everything on Amazon Prime. Their website is just a hub for all of this, and everything is genuinely discounted. It's not just like, oh yeah, we're putting a sale on so you buy more stuff. No, the stuff is actually on sale. It's cheaper than you otherwise would get it. In addition, if you're a late shopper like I am, a lot of this is available through Amazon Prime, so you can get it even tomorrow if you wanted to for a very low price. Everything will be linked down below. I definitely recommend you guys check it out, but with that, just right into the video. So I wanted to make this video to actually talk about Bethesda's E3 conference. If you guys watched my live stream of it, you probably already know some of these different opinions, but I'm a little more cohesive, and obviously some time has passed, so this video is going to be pretty raw, not too much editing. I just really wanted to speak about some of my thoughts and really just all around what I thought about the conference. Judging by the title, you could see it's a rant, so not positive thoughts. Starting things off, I wasn't a huge fan about the introduction to the conference, that being with VR. I felt like that wasn't really a good way to get things hyped. That's a relatively minor nitpick, but VR is such a specific category right now. The barrier to entry is so high because VR headsets cost so much. And then even beyond that, all they showed was Fallout 4 VR, which we already knew was coming, and we really didn't get that many more details. We actually saw some gameplay, which honestly I was kind of excited for the game, and seeing the gameplay made me slightly less excited. Then we did get Doom VR, which looked pretty cool, but we don't know price points, we don't really know too many details outside of a release date, and all this is assuming you do have a capable PC and VR headset, which is going to run you about $2,000 end of day, that being for both of them. I just really don't feel like this is a great way to open things up, especially with that whole kids introduction. I wasn't immersed, I wasn't sucked in like some of the other conferences did for me. And then moving on, just kind of an overall thing I didn't like at all was the use of pre-generated or pre-rendered cutscenes. I feel like almost every game they showed us, despite being released later this year, which was something that was pretty cool, everything they did show at that conference was coming out in 2017, which I definitely like, but a lot of the games we saw little to no gameplay of. They had some pretty cool announcements. I'm not too excited about too many of those games because I'm just not a fan of those series, but there are definitely people that are, but I didn't really feel like we got an idea of what it would be like to play some of these games. It was just like, here's a kind of cool cinematic that makes you kind of maybe want to play the game or maybe want to throw money at it. But I don't think anyone's going to be sold on just those alone unless you're already a diehard fan of the series, because you could really not tell what you would actually be doing. Another thing I wasn't a huge fan of is how they had a few things that felt like they were just jumping on a bandwagon, that being with esports as well as the card game. Another one of their major announcements was that Quake Legends was going to be getting a big competition and esports support. This was following all the VR stuff, which I feel like back to back, these are not things that appeal to a broad audience. Esports is pretty specific and kind of a niche, as well as VR. Just re-emphasizing that idea that that's not a good way to start a presentation like this, at least in my eyes. And even beyond that, it didn't feel like they were trying to sell me on Quake Legends. They just wanted me to be interested in the esport aspect of it, which that's fine, but I don't think many esports will be successful without having a good game behind it. Counter-Strike Go and League of Legends, the two biggest esports right now, even Dota, were all played for very long before they actually had success in the esports realm. If you actually go back and watch their trailer for it, it really just talks about esports, not much about the game itself, although they don't show any esports. They just show gameplay, which is another critique I had about this. A big problem with a lot of first-person shooters and the esports surrounding them, most notably Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege, is the presentation. It's not as easy to watch games like that due to the format of the game and the way it's just kind of weird to watch people play in first person. I don't think it's as fluid as something like Dota 2 or League of Legends, which are obviously the two biggest esports. CSGO definitely gets it right, but again, even they have kind of third-person cameras and stuff like that. And something like CSGO is a lot easier to understand. It's, at the end of the day, people shooting things and placing bombs. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but to the everyday viewer, it's pretty self-explanatory. I did not get that same impression from this game, and it really just made me feel very disappointed, and I honestly have no interest in it. Then the Skyrim card game, the trailer gave us little to no information. It really just felt like they were jumping on the bandwagon of other card games like The Witcher has, and of course, all this following the success of Hearthstone. That feels like a straight cash grab, and I'm not excited for that whatsoever. But at the end of the day, I think my biggest disappointment about this was no new game from Bethesda Game Studios. That's the people under Todd Howard, the people that brought us Fallout and Skyrim and all the other Fallouts and Elder Scrolls games, and I really just wanted something from them that I could play or download. Maybe my expectations going into it were just unrealistic, but they said they were working on 7 new games, and the only thing we got updates to was Fallout VR from them. I just think that's really disappointed, and I don't think I was alone here. The expectations were that we were gonna get a new game, or at least the announcement of a new game. And even if none of that, I was hoping for at least another remaster. Instead, what we got was Creation Club, which a lot of people already hate right off the bat, and I definitely don't think that's a good way to make an example. So at the end of the day, I think Bethesda's E3 conference fell flat. A lot of people were disappointed with it, me included. Wolfenstein, without a doubt, was the highlight of the show, and even that wasn't all that exciting. And again, just kind of nitpicky here, but the length was really short. 40 minutes, it didn't feel like nearly enough time. I honestly would have almost rather Bethesda not have their own show, just partner or piggyback off some other show, or just do it during the normal E3. Hosting this at the middle of the night, having a lot of people stay up in anticipation, and then releasing nothing that was all that exciting, just again, really didn't feel that great. Obviously, if you're a huge fan of Wolfenstein or Dishonored 2, we got some new DLC for that, or any of those games, maybe you're super hyped and happy with the presentation, but I think a lot of people watching were excited for one of the new projects coming out of Bethesda Game Studios. Skyrim and Fallout 4 are their two best-selling games, and I think a lot of people watching were excited to hear more from that company, not the publisher. And frankly, I think we only got bad news in regards to those games going forward. Hopefully this all means that next year E3 is going to be super great and we're going to get some great new releases, but again, only time will tell. As always, again, and thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.